Okay, for number 1 on day 2, we have 36 divided by 5, which equals 72, and then we divide that by 2 to get 36. So then we have cosine 36 equals 9 over 4. And we have sine 36 equals x over 4. And then a equals 4 cosine 36. And x equals 4 sine 36. And then one side equals 8 sine 36. And the perimeter is 40 sine 36. So the area equals half times 4 cosine 36 times 40 sine 36. And then you have your triangle and the slant height with the height and the base. So we have 6 squared plus 4 cosine 36 squared equals x squared, because we're trying to find the slant height. So we have the slant height equals the square root of 36 plus 4 cosine 36 squared. Now the surface area equals half times 4 cosine 36 times 40 sine 36 plus half times 40 sine 36 times the square root of 36 plus sine 4 cosine 36 squared. And then you plug that into your calculator and you get 118.18. Now we have number 1 for day 3. So the surface area equals 305, a side equals 4x, and the slant height equals 5. So we plug them into the formula and we have 305 equals 6 times 1/4 times 4x squared times the square root of 3 plus 1/2 times 24x times 5. And then we subtract the 305 onto the other side. So we have 0 equals 24 square root of 3 x times x squared plus 60x minus 305. So A will equal 24 square root of 3, B equals 60, and C equals negative 305. So we plug them into the quadratic formula, and we have plug them all in. And we simplify. So x equals negative 60 plus or minus the square root of of 3,600 plus 29,280 square root of 3. And that is divided by 48 square root of 3. And then you have negative 60 plus the square root of that stuff, and then divide it by 48 square root of 3. And then you also have to subtract it to get both your answers. So we have negative 3.5, negative 3.52, and 2.08. And then we go to number 3. So we have to plug these numbers into the surface area formula. So we have 164 equals pi r squared plus pi r8, because we plug 8 in for the height. And then we have 0 equals pi r squared plus pi r8 minus 164, because we subtract 164 over, so we get the equal to 0. And then a equals pi, b equals 8 pi, and c equals negative 164. And then we plug them into the quadratic formula. So x equals negative 8 pi plus or minus the square root of 8 pi squared minus 4 times pi times negative 164 divided by 2 pi. And then we have negative 8 pi plus or minus the square root of 8 pi squared plus 656 pi divided by 2 pi. And then we add and subtract them, so then we get negative 12.25 and 4.25. And then we go to day 1, and we're gonna do number 2. So we have the surface area formula for the cone. So we plug in the numbers for it, which is, so we have pi times 5 squared plus pi times 5 times 13. And we get 13 by doing the Pythagorean theorem to find the slant height. So we have 12 squared plus 5 squared equals the slant height. And then we square them. We have 144 plus 25 squared. Well, 144 plus 25, and add them together. We have 169. Take the square root of that, and that's 13. So then we plug that into the formula, and we have 90 squared. So that is 282.74. Then we do number 3. So we have our surface area formula for a pyramid. So we have surface area equals 6 times 1/4 times 7 squared times the square root of 3 plus half times 42 times 8. And then we have 3 over 2 times 48 times the square root of 3 plus 168. And then we have 147 times the square root of 3 divided by 2 plus 168. And that equals 295.305.